Over to you, Lisa Baker. Welcome to Brightside. And congratulations on winning for the fourth win, our Brightside Empowerer Award, which makes you our trailblazer and ambassador for our fantastic, empowering community. And Heather, I forgot to mention that to you as well. Congratulations to you on your first win. So over to you, Lisa. Tell us all about it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. First of all, I just want to say how blessed, honored, privileged I feel to be sitting here today in this space with all of you beautiful people. Amber, Heather, Shayna, everybody that's on the call. Those are the ones I can see on my screen. But I really feel proud to be in this space. And it already, you guys are telling the truth, the real story about what I'm speaking about today, which is the power that is in unity and how unity is our power. Just in the small exchange that happened between Amber and Heather, I'm like, yes, this is what it's about. It's finding people who have walked the path that we're trying to walk, who maybe have walked a different path, but have some experiences that are relevant to where we are. And even if they aren't walking the same path, even if their experience is very different, just that heart to heart human connection that happens when you're in a space with brilliant people. I already feel smarter, better, feel like I can go and do more just by listening to you guys talk about what you have done, what you are doing, and the overcoming that happened because you're continuing to persist. And I love it. So I had to get all of that out of the way first. I feel so blessed to be here. You guys are the epitome of Black excellence. So kudos to you for just being you and doing the thing that you've been called to do and that you have the opportunity to do now. All right, I am going to share my screen and we're going to get into this presentation. I put some content together to talk about based on the topic that Elizabeth gave me, but we can talk about whatever you like. So if you have a question, comment, concern, don't be shy, jump in. It's better that way when we just have a dialogue. The slides are merely intended to help facilitate the conversation, quite frankly, help me to remember what I'm supposed to be talking about so I don't get off track. All right, let me share my screen and we will dive in. Okay, hopefully what you will see on your screen, I'm going to be on. Put this on full screen now. Awesome. Okay, so we are talking this Black History Month about power in unity. And I want to say it the other way too, that our unity is our power. So Black History Month for us is the shortest month of the year, but it is a time of celebration. It is a call to us, and it is also a reminder of how far we have come, and also a recognition that as far as we've come, there is still much more work to be done. We have made tremendous progress as we honor the past and acknowledge the present. We commit to a future that is better. We at times may have felt powerless, less than, etc. People try to make us feel that way, but the truth is we were never powerless. We always had power. The big difference is that now we are even more powerful. We have people in places and spaces that we never could have thought possible in the past, but they are there. And we are here because of all of those powerful people who came before us. They have left us with this charge, this call to build on the foundation that they have set for us. And we have to do that together. So individual excellence is powerful. It is a beautiful thing. It's remarkable to achieve, Amber, what you have achieved already. Heather, what you have achieved, what you've done, the spaces that you've been in as an individual. It's awesome. I experienced that too. My career was mainly in corporate America, Fortune 500 and larger organizations. I was the senior vice president and general manager for PayPal and eBay's credit programs. So I led a $2.5 billion business for the organization. Now, I didn't get there just overnight. We all start someplace, beginning in our career, wherever that is. And we start as individuals who are doing good work, excellent work, demonstrating that we have the capability to excel. And that's what gets us promoted from one level to the next level. All of that doing, though, early on is your individual intellect, power, ability, willpower, even sometimes. But you get to a point where you recognize that while it's great to be an individual and to be excellent on your own, it is even better and it becomes necessary to operate as a team, to be a collective, because individually you're great, you thrive. But if we want to transform the places in which we work, the communities in which we live, and extend that out, make a change for the world, it requires us to harness the power of unity and the collective. We can't do it alone. I hear people say all the time something that starts with this notion that they have accomplished something on their own. We hear it like this: she's a self-made, fill in the blank, self-made billionaire, self-made entrepreneur, self-made. And every time I hear that, I was like, no, that's not true. My mind says, no, that is not true. It is not to take anything away from you and your intellect and all that you've put into it. But no one, there is not a single person on this planet, living or dead, who accomplished anything great on their own. The fact of the matter is, we can't even make ourselves. We needed our parents to do that for us. So no one is a self-made anything. And history shows us that when we come together, we get exponential results for our efforts. And that's the place that we need to be. Our history here in the US with slavery and all of that almost taught us to be divided, to be fearful of each other. But that is one of the oldest strategies in the book, divide and conquer. And it's intentional because they, whomever you want to put in the collective, they know that if we band together, we are unstoppable, truly unstoppable. Nothing that we can't accomplish together. And history shows us that and what happens. So think about some of these milestones. What we call Black Wall Street was the Greenwood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Back in the 1920s, the African Americans in that community formed their own businesses. There were hundreds of businesses, and they did that out of necessity. And it worked because they supported each other, worked together. Okay, fast forward a little bit, we get into the 50s. We had the Montgomery bus boycott, very famous, set off by Miss Rosa Parks. And it was a protest that had significant impact. We got together and agreed that we were just not going to ride the bus. That led into the civil rights movement, decade-long effort that made significant changes in this country. Then fast forward again, we're in 2020. George Floyd unfortunately lost his life because of the one person and their callousness. However, that sparked a global movement. But every step that we make forward, every time we make some progress, there is resistance. And yet, as Maya Angelou would say, and still we rise. Still we rise. Okay, let's look at it a little bit closer. So why at what we call Black Wall Street? Because the African Americans that lived in that Greenwood district in Tulsa could not live among white people in the community, and they could not patronize their business. Systemic racism kept them locked out. And so they said, we have to do this for ourselves. In 1921, before that fateful massacre that occurred, there were over 100 businesses in the primary district, all owned by African Americans. And because it was so successful, because, again, they recognized the power when we come together, they thought they would break us by not allowing us to engage. We just found another way, in fact, a better way, but they burned it all to the ground. The bus boycotts, we talked about 381 days, combined effort, agreement amongst everyone. We will not ride the bus. We will walk if we have to. There were some taxi drivers, the people that had cars did carpooling before carpooling was a big thing, but they were committed to this thing. We are not riding the bus. Something must change. And it worked. The result of their effort caused the Supreme Court to make a decision that this we as Blacks have to ride in the back, that is not going to be the thing anymore because we stuck together. The Civil Rights Movement, of course, ordinary people from all walks of life, all economic levels, all banding together for one clear purpose. We want to be free. We want to have our dignities as humans. We want equality with every other person, period. So for over a decade, we all banded together to do that. That led to the Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, and so many things that have come since then because we committed to banding together. Over 60 countries protested after George Floyd was killed. When Derek Chauvin kneeled on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, taking his life, but that sparked a global uprising. Then we have Black Lives Matter and all of these movements that support equal treatment for Black and brown people in this country. But here's the problem. Progress always triggers resistance. It always has. It still does. We have the same battles. We see the same old patterns, and we still have the same need for unity. The cycle goes like this. We achieve some progress, right? And resistance then starts to mobilize because of a whole host of reasons that we won't talk about today because we don't have time. But then the community responds. We mobilize, we get together, right? And that leads to better results and we make progress. And then the cycle starts all over again. But that should not deter us from continuing the effort to band together, to rise together, because eventually we win. We continue to win despite the resistance. And we have tremendous power. As I said, we've always had power. Now we just have even more power. We together, African Americans in these United States, have a collective buying power of around $2 trillion. If we all were to get together and move ourselves to a place just for us, we would be a global economy higher than the top 50, we'd be in the top 15. Our collective buying power would make us bigger than Mexico. We would be bigger than the Netherlands, bigger than Indonesia. Black people collectively together would be in the top 15 global economies. So we are powerful people. The question is, what could we create? What would become possible that seems impossible today if we purposely aligned our power? Kind of like the conversation that started between Amber and Heather before we got into this conversation. I already can see what could happen just because Heather is willing to share her knowledge, to share her experiences with Amber. So then Amber doesn't have to make the same mistakes. She can move faster than someone new coming into this process will, because she has Heather as an ambassador who can show her the way. Now, if Heather and Amber collectively get together and decide, oh, we're going to do something big together, some idea is sparked just by them talking, they go and create yet another new thing. And maybe they pull in Shanna, and maybe they pull me in. And now we have something even bigger than the vision that Amber started with. Her vision is still hers. It's still alive and well, but she goes higher and higher. And as a result of her going higher, she can bring some other people right along with her. That's the power that comes from us being united. And we are living in a time when there are forces at work that are trying to take us backwards. But we have to therefore put our power together to continue to move forward and higher than we have ever been. We see the attacks on all things DEI. We see the attacks on people who are immigrants to this country, when in fact, unless you're a Native American, we all are immigrants to this country. Some of us came on our own, some of us did not, but this was not our original homeland. And yet they want to go back. So when I hear words like "make America great again," immediately a question sparks. When was America great? When was it great? When is that definition of great for you that you're trying to take us back to? Because just to say to make it great again implies that it is not great now. This is how my brain works. Questions always arise. So I'm curious. I'm going to call on Shayna, if you allow me to do that, just because I haven't heard your beautiful voice yet. And I am curious, what's one thing you think could be possible if we were to just all band together toward a common goal, whatever that goal might be?
I would definitely say empowering each other to be able to move forward to make a better community of us helping each other. Because, in our, especially in our Black community, it's very a lot of poverty, and, it's a lot of us out here starving and trying to figure it out from day to day, living check to check. So being able to create a unity and be able to push each other to a better financial status.
Absolutely. Better communities, better financial status. I would submit to you that there isn't a single person in these United States that needs to be hungry or homeless, because we have enough wealth collectively that everybody can get fed. But that requires us to shift from individual excellence and the mindset that is me and mine to collective communal success, that to a mindset is of we and us. It requires us to recognize that I am not separate from you. I am my own individual, but we are all knit together. We are connected by our just being human, just being in this space on this planet, doing life together, whether we are in different locations, have different backgrounds or not. COVID should have taught us that. If we ever thought that we were an island unto ourselves, a global pandemic says, no, that's not true. Because somebody getting sick in one country created sickness across many countries, because we're all connected. We are all connected, whether we choose to recognize it or not. So if we, particularly us in the African American community, recognize that we are connected, we are really one. And if we act as one, putting our minds together, putting our experience together, putting our finances together to do something that builds our communities, there is no stopping us. There's no
Can I say
stopping us.
something else? Can I say?
Absolutely, you can.
And then a lot of times we have to stop feeling like we're competition and actually collaborate, because that's part of the issue too. Your mindset of thinking someone is your competition instead
Yeah.
of focusing that we should unite and use all of our brains and finances together. Competition is a big
Absolutely.
thing when people always feel that, oh, well, they're here and I'm here and I need to compete to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is such an excellent point. Here, the reality is we're not in competition truly with anyone other than ourselves. When you recognize who you are, when you know the purpose that you have, and you're committed to that, you don't have time to compete with anyone else. The only standard that I'm competing against is, am I better today than I was yesterday, than I was last week, last month, last year? Am I getting better? That's one. Number two, because I believe that there is a God who has a purpose and plan for all of our lives, the biggest standard is, am I doing what I have been created to do? Am I living up to what I know to be the purpose and plan for my life? If I'm doing that, I don't have time to be in competition with you or anyone else because we don't have the same purpose and plan. Now, where we can still band together is when my purpose and the plan for my life and the experience that I have can be put together with yours because we have similar passions, because we have similar common goal that we're going after. Now we're not in competition. We have exponential impact by banding together. There is no competition. There's not. And it's also having a mindset of abundance. We compete when we believe that there's a limit to what is available, there's a limit to what is possible. And because if there is a limit, then that means I have to compete with you, because if you get something, that means there's less of something available for me. And I would submit to you that that is absolutely untrue. There's an abundance in the world. There is no lack. There is no limit other than what we can imagine, what we can believe, and what we're willing to work for. That's where the limitations lie. Now, there can be resistance. People may put obstacles in the way. There may be some challenges along the way. That's real. But that's not to say that there isn't success, excellence, more available to you. There is. And every one of us on this call is proof of that. I don't have to know the details of your background to know that you have more, know more, and still desire more than what you did a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. So more is always available. So what unity looks like in that environment is using what we have, using our voice, using the influence that we have, making connections as Elizabeth has done and continues to do on these calls. Hey, Lisa, you should know Heather. Why don't you guys talk? Hey, maybe you should connect with someone else. I think you guys might benefit each other. So I'm always open to truly making connections. And when I'm talking about connections, I am talking about truly getting to know another person for who they are, to know more about them, not just to know more people. That's called networking. You just want to know more people. I don't have time for that. I don't know about you. The time is limited. There's so many things I want to do, but I have all the time in the world. I'm willing to make time to connect with another person that can help me grow, where there's something that I can help contribute to them, that together we walk away feeling better because we know each other now, walk away smarter, walk away more inspired. As I said, just hearing Amber and Heather talk inspired me. Like, oh man, what can be possible? This is the great things are coming from this. I just know that just by hearing the conversation. I'm all for that. That's what unity actually looks like. I'm not afraid to share what I know or tell you what I've done or even how I did it, how I'm doing it, because I'm not in competition with you. We are not separate. We're together. See, when we stand alone, that just means survival. right? If you're just doing it by yourself, you can survive. But if we band together, that allows us to rise. If we rise together, then that's how we change the world. So again, individual excellence is necessary and it is a beautiful thing. I love to see people shine. I just want us to put our shine together and shine even brighter, because that's where our real power, that's where our real impact comes from. That's what significance looks like. Unity in power, power that comes from being united. So the question becomes, what will you do? What's one action maybe that you can commit to use your power, and who will you bring along with you? About that, about all the power you really have. What are you going to do with it? Who will you bring along with you? Who are you bringing along, Heather? You're on mute, beautiful.
So my most recent book, hopefully that would answer that question, is called Create Your Own Table, A Guide to Discovering Your Purpose. And that's the entire point, that you don't have to worry and be distressed that you're not being invited to someone else's table. We are all empowered and we have the ability to be able to create our own. And so that is genuinely my purpose now. That is what all of my experience and my life has allowed me to evolve to this point, to this place where everything that I've learned, all the struggles, all the challenges, all of the failures, and that for me is not a bad word, because I often say every failure is the education that I got without the student loans at the end. And if I didn't have all those challenges, I would be perfectly useless, because I built an entire brand around it. All of those challenges that I had, Amber can now avoid. All the challenges that those clients that I had that struggled and she can now avoid, because I passed all of that. You can then pass exactly what you're saying. But one of the things that occurred to me as you were sharing what it is that we want to see, how we can evolve. The first thing that I think of is not thinking in terms of limitations, because for many people, it's they're in this very confined box, in this very confined space, and it's really being able to open your mind to know that you are able to do more and you are able to achieve excellence. And the fact that you are Black, African American, however you describe yourself, is not an inhibitor by any stretch of the imagination. But I wouldn't take over your talk because it is your talk.
No, that is excellent. I love that. And I so love that you said that, because we do need to create our own table spaces instead of trying to force ourselves into places and into systems that were not designed for us and sometimes do not welcome us. We can create our own. We have enough power, intellect, we have everything that we need to create our own. Can you imagine? Just think about almost any industry, any area. If we just all decided we're done, we're not playing that game anymore, everything would have to change. There would be no NFL if all the Black NFL players decide, I'm done, I'm out. We're just not going to play. You wouldn't have a game. If all the Black people just decided, you know what, we're going to leave and we're going to go to some uninhabited island right now, and we're going to make that our home, and we're going to call it whatever we want to name it, because this is where we're all going. If we all left, the United States would immediately start to crumble. Markets would crash, things would be in disarray, because there's so much that we contribute to this society. There's so much money that we put into this society that if we took it and we took our talent and we left, and I'm not saying we need to do that, but just imagine what would happen.
May I just
So we
share
could
one
stay
thing?
here. Yes, go ahead, Heather.
As you're saying that, because I couldn't help, because the thought just bounced into my head and now it's out of my mouth. But that's the Caribbean, right? I remembered when I first arrived the idea that I could not, first of all, I did not understand what a minority was and that I was one. Let's just be clear and honest.
Yeah.
I was like, what is a minority? Why am I a minority? And what exactly is the problem with that? And I felt like an idiot for years because I genuinely did not understand that because I came from a place where we just were. There wasn't a majority, minority, you just were. And so I think the greatest struggle that I had was that this was actually an issue. And in my ignorance, because God bless my great aunt, she used to always say, when ignorance is bliss, knowledge is folly. I didn't know you're not supposed to be expecting to just like go to the Hamptons. Oh, like why? Because I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not a. I thought I was like, this is an amazing place. Like, why? Where is the issue? I didn't know I wasn't supposed to expect to live in Manhattan. Like, I was only supposed to live in Brooklyn. I didn't know that. So it's that mindset shift is probably the most significant part of everything, and you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah,
Period.
that is so true. I love that. And it's why I love travel too, because when you travel around the globe and you meet different people, you see how other people live, you see how they experience the world and what they value. It is truly an eye-opening education. And what I found in traveling is there are some things that are universal. I don't care what country you come from, I don't care what language you speak. There's some things that are just universal. Every place I've ever been, there is a concept of love. It's a universal thing. Every place I've ever been, there is a soundtrack, right? There's music everywhere you go. It's universal. You don't have to know what the singer is saying to feel the vibe, to understand and move to the music, right? There is some unit of exchange, some way in which we get the things that we need. It's universal. Now, how we use it, what we value may look different, but there's just some things that are universal. And what I've noticed in other countries is exactly what you're saying, Heather. They don't have this concept of it's kind of us and them, and we're the majority and you're the minority. You go to, I don't know, pick a place, Jamaica. They're like, well, I'm a white Jamaican. And I'm like, no, I'm just Jamaican because this is where I'm from. It's only in the US where I've seen that kind of distinction. Now, it's not to say that people don't have a sense of class or levels or
I was
whatever.
gonna
It's
say
a thing that humans do to try to,
classism, yes.
that exists.
Yeah.
But this thing of, yeah, and what is race? Like, how do you even explain that if it is a kid, right, who really ignorant, they don't know. How do you explain this thing? Because it's not a real thing. It's a made up concept. It is a made up thing, a way for people to divide. So it shouldn't limit. It's not a limitation unless exactly what you said, Heather, unless you believe it, unless it's your mindset. I would argue to you that that's why people can immigrate to the United States and become more successful more quickly than some people who were born here.
Sure.
It's because if you weren't born here, you don't have this belief that because I am fill in the blank, whatever you are, I can't do or they won't let me do. You don't have that mindset when you come here because you didn't grow up here and you didn't receive that kind of indoctrination. You don't have that kind of experience. You were told that America is a land of opportunity. You can be anything when you come to America. There's so much abundance here. If you come from somewhere else, that's likely what you've been told. And if you believe it, it's part of why you come in the first place. You can excel
100%.
because this construct is just that, a construct, and we can destruct it if we choose to. So let's unite. Truly, my whole purpose in this season in my life is to help people lead boldly and at the same time live more fully. I have a community that I call the Growth Squad. You can scan the QR code on the screen if you want to sign up and join. You're not going to get a bunch of spam emails from me. Don't worry. I send 2 emails a week, one on Monday, one on Thursday. The one on Monday is on whatever is on my head and heart at the time. The one on Thursday is solely dedicated to elevating leadership. It is an email that you can read or watch a video in 2 minutes or less and get practical support to lead boldly and live fully. And I would love to connect with you. You can find me on all the socials. I am Lisa L. Baker on LinkedIn. I'm the Lisa L. Baker on Facebook. Find me. Let's connect. I really hope that we stay in touch. I'm excited to see what comes as a result just from us talking and sharing together today. And I want to just say thank you for allowing me to be me and to share this space with you. Questions, comments from anyone?
Now you know why we love Lisa Baker. Wow, congratulations. That was such a fantastic presentation. Amazing.
Thank you.
You know, Lisa, when I came to the United States, of course, my mother had come, my grandfather had come prior to me. My mother studied at Creighton University in Nebraska with her brothers and sisters. And so we already had an American connection. But when I came to America and I was filling out the census form, and later on I got to work with the Census Bureau, and I was able to go to Washington and talk to the Congress and the Senate about how important it was for us to change the Census Bureau form, because there was no Indian name on the form, and most Indians would say, let's go with Caucasian. And just the fact that they wanted to associate themselves as a Caucasian because there was nothing that said Indian, even though India is in the Asian continent. So technically, we should just, identify ourselves as Asian. But Asian Indians, for some reason, thought they were superior and they didn't belong to Asia, which is really funny because they are in that continent. So I actually made many speeches about this very same topic, which is, why does an Indian feel that they are Caucasian? So you really resonated to me, because when people come from a foreign land and have not been brought up in the United States, there is an identity crisis. And their sole purpose of coming here is for their careers or their jobs or the opportunity. And then many feel like failures and there's a lot of suicide rate as well, when they don't accomplish the success that was promised to them, because they don't want to go back to their homeland as a failure. And we have a huge suicide rate among Asians, because when they cannot become the doctors that they want to be or own the big mansion houses that they felt that, once you come to America, I don't know how people think this, you're walking on gold and, everything, all your dreams are going to come true. You're going to own these magnificent houses. You're going to bring your whole family over and you're going to be so rich. And so, I've been watching a lot of Asian movies as well and diasporas, and I feel like we really need to address this, because it's not just about their disappointments or their hurt or not being able to achieve what they wanted to achieve. It's just addressing the facts that we are all colored people, and we are going to experience issues that we have to deal with. When we reach vice president and when we are in charge of a team of 50 to 60 people, there's a certain race that will not report to us, that will talk behind our back, that will do everything they can for us to fail. So that fact remains, and being diversity and coming together to strengthen one another is as important as being colored. So I think that is a big thing, and I love the presentation. I hope more people see it, and I hope you write us comments on Facebook. And if you experience what we experience, you will know what I'm talking about. And so I want you to write a comment and tell you. So many of us have overcome that, and we're here to support you and help you. As Lisa said, when you come together as a group with people who have experienced this and can share their experiences and help you along your journey, then you will not commit suicide. You will not feel like a failure, but you can get to being successful. You can live your abundant life and be happy. So come back to Brightside, and we will introduce you to some fantastic people like Lisa, Heather, Amber, Shayna, and Dr. Pinkins, so that you can grow and learn and be the person you're supposed to be. So thank you for that. And I will have to bring Dr. Pinkins on next. And we are on a wing and a prayer with my computer, and it's been working great. So I would love to introduce you to her. Thank you, Lisa. That was a fantastic presentation. Does anyone have any questions for Lisa or comments? Okay, so let's move along. And we're moving into our veterans segment starting in 15 minutes. So if those of you who want to come and support our veterans, please stay on. You are in for a great surprise. We have some wonderful speakers coming up. So Dr. Pinkins is someone who has been my great support system. Wow, what a lady, what a woman. She is a former captain with the U.S. Air Force, and she's a history maker. And I'm going to let her tell you her story. And she's also an author, and she continues to give people help and support. And she has given us tremendous support. So thank you for all that you do for us. We really appreciate you. I'm going to just